Topic: Elasticity of demand. Subtopic: Price, income and cross-elasticity. Uses of elasticity of demand for managerial decision-making. Meaning and concept of elasticity. Elasticity, a numerical measure of responsiveness of one variable following a change in another variable, ceteris paribus. The extent of any change is important, particularly from a business standpoint. Where a small change in price, for example, produces a bigger change in the quantity demanded, then the relationship is said to be elastic. Alternatively, if a large change in the price produces only a small change in the quantity demanded, then the relationship is inelastic. The distinction is very important as it can be used to explain how businesses respond to a range of changing circumstances in their markets.
Knowing there are 5 types of elastics. First, elastic, inelastic, perfectly inelastic, and last one is unitary. Elasticity will tell us about sensitivity of quantity demand if price is changed. For example, price increase 5% and then quantity demand of that product increase 6%. Percentage change in quantity demand higher than percentage change in price, right? So in this case we can say the type of elasticity is elastic. And then second one, for example, price is changed 6%, but quantity demand changed 2%. So in this case, quantity demand change is lower than percentage change in price. We can say inelastic.
Types of elasticity: price, income and cross-elasticity. Price elasticity of demand, PED, is a numerical measure of the responsiveness of the quantity demanded for a product following a change in the price of that product.
So, how to get price elasticity demand? We have to use a formula. Price elasticity demand equal percentage change in quantity demand of a product divided by percentage change in price of that product. So at the end it will give us result a number start from 0 to infinity. The number will tell us the type of elasticity. Before we already discussed, we have 5 types of elasticity like elastic, inelastic, perfectly inelastic, and unitary. So the number will tell us the type of elasticity.
Using 2 specific examples of price changes for 2 general products called product A and product B, assume that both of these unrelated products are currently priced at $100 and demand for them is 1,000 units per month. Consider what might happen to the demand for A and B if the price rises to $105. The quantity demanded of product A only falls from 1,000 to 990, whereas the quantity demanded of product B falls from 1,000 to 900. Calculate PED.
We have to always remember, while we are calculating PED or price elasticity demand, we will use absolute term. Means we have to ignore negative sign. For example, 100 minus 90, we will get 10, right? But if 90 minus 100, we will get minus 10. In this case, we have to ignore minus or negative sign. So in both cases, we have to write only 10. 100 minus 90, we will write 10. 90 minus 100, we will also write 10 in case to get price elasticity demand. Now let's back to the question. From the question, we will get information. The original price is $100, and then next price increase from 100 to 105, and then there will be change in product A and product B. Quantity of product A in the beginning, quantity demand is 1000, but after price increase, quantity demand is decreased into 990. Now product B, when price is 100, quantity demand is 1000. Next price is increased to 105. So product B in quantity demand also decreased to be 900. We have to remember how to get price elasticity demand. We will use formula PED equals with percentage change in quantity demand divided by percentage change in price. So here let's try to calculate PED of product E. Here I use symbol triangle. Triangle means change. So let's focus on product A. PED equals percentage change in quantity demand, change replaced with triangle, and divide by percentage change in price equals inside bracket 10 divided by 1000. 10 divided by 1000, where we get 10. Now let's focus on quantity of product A. Quantity product A first is 1000 and then reduced to 990. So how to get 10? We only have to minus 1000 minus 990. So we will get 10 divided by 1000. 1000 is the original quantity of product A into 100 because we want to know the percentage change of quantity product. And then now price. How to get percentage quantity price? Focus on price. The original price is 100 and then price is increased to be 105. So the original price is 100 minus 105. We have to always remember, if we want to get PED, we will use absolute term, means we have to ignore the negative sign. 100 minus 105. Normally we will write minus 5, right? But in this case, we only have to write 5. 5 divided by 100. 100 is the original price. So we will get 1 divided by 5. So we will get 0.2. 0.2 bigger than 1 or less than 1? 0.2 is less than 1. So we can say product A is inelastic. We have to use to know the elasticity of product B. For product A, after we calculate, we get 0.2. 0.2 is less than 1. So categorize as inelastic product or unresponsive to the price change. Here we can say price change 5%, but quantity demand change only 0.2, much less than change in price. About product B, after we calculate, we get 2. 2 is bigger than 1. So, product B, plastic, means responsive to the price change. In this case, price change 5%, but great impact, quantity demand change much bigger than 5%.
Factors affecting price elasticity of demand. First, the range and attractiveness of substitutes. The greater the number of substitute products and the more closely substitutable those products are, the more we would expect consumers to switch away from a particular product when its price goes up, or towards that product if its price falls.
Still remember about substitute product. Substitute product means they will substitute each other. For example, apple and orange, coffee and tea. If price of coffee increase, so people will use more tea.
Second, the relative expense of the product. A rise in price will reduce the purchasing power of a person's income and hence the ability to pay. The larger the proportion of income that the price represents, the larger the impact will be on the consumer's income level of a change in the product's price. For example, a 10% increase in the price of a flight to Pakistan will have a bigger impact than a 10% rise in the price of a bus trip into town. The greater the relative proportion of income accounted for by the product, the higher the PED, other things being equal.
Increasing in price will have effect to our ability to buy product or services. Let's say if you have 100 MWR, price of pencil is 10 for each. So you can get 10 pens, right, if you have 10 MWR. But now let's say the price of pen increase into 20 each. So you will only get 5 pen if you have 100 MWR. So it's clear enough, yeah, the increasing of price will reduce your ability to buy product or services.
Third, time. In the short term, perhaps weeks or months, people may find it hard to change their spending patterns. However, if the price of the product goes up and stays up, then over time people will find ways of adapting and adjusting, so the PED is likely to increase over time.
Example, now price of dollar is, let's say, 18. Before Corona, 15.42. For foreign like me, it will give very big impact. My salary is stable, but price of dollar is increased. If I want to send some money to Indonesia, I have to convert MWR to dollar. Means I have to buy dollar. In the beginning, it was very difficult for me, but nowadays I have no choice. So I only have to adjust with the increasing price of dollar.
Income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand, yet, is defined as a numerical measure of the responsiveness of the quantity demanded following a change in income. The formula used in this case is:
Before, we already talked about price elasticity demand. Now we will talk about income elasticity demand. How to get income elasticity demand? We have to use formula, almost same formula with price elasticity demand. The only thing here, we have to replace price with income. YED equals percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. So we will get income elasticity of demand.
If an increase in income leads to an increase in the quantity demanded, or a decrease in income leads to a decrease in the quantity demanded, then there is a positive relationship and the product is classified as normal. Inferior goods, which exhibit a negative relationship between income and demand. An increase in income would cause a decrease in the quantity demanded. A decrease in income would cause an increase in the quantity demanded.
If we are calculating income elasticity demand, there will be two relationships, positive and negative. If we get positive, means the product is categorized as a normal product. If it negative, means the product categorized as inferior product. Positive relationship means if our income increase, we will consume more on that product. But if our income decrease, we will also reduce consume in that product that is categorized as a normal product. We also have negative relationship. Negative relationship means if our income increase, we will decrease to use that product. But if our income decrease, we will use that product more.
So the sign that precedes the yet tells you the nature of the relationship between income and the quantity that is demanded. The numerical value tells you the strength of that relationship. For example, there has been a 2% increase in consumer income and that has led to the changes in demand shown in table 2.6.
Now let's discuss table 2.6. How to get income elasticity demand, or YED equals percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. In this case, it's mentioned income has been increased for 2%. So, focus on product A, original demand 100 unit with the price $10, and then new demand increase from 100 to 103 at the same price. So how to know YED? YED of product A, percentage in quantity demanded from 100 to 103, mean increase 3, right? So 3 divided by 100 into 100, we will get 3%. And here increase from 100 to 103, showing increasing quantity demand. Also, divide by percentage change in income, 2% increase in income. This is already mentioned in the question. Income has been increased 2%. So we will get 3 divided by 2 equals positive 1.5. Positive will tell us if the product categorized as a normal product, right? But if it's negative, means that product categorized as a inferior product. Now back to product A. We will get positive 1.5. Mean product A categorized as a normal good. And 1.5 is bigger or less than 1. 1.5 is bigger than 1. So we can categorize as a elastic product. So let's make conclusion of product A. Product A is a normal product and categorized as a elastic product. Now, let's move to product B. The original quantity demand 100, price 10. But there will be a change in quantity demand. It shows decreasing in quantity demand from 100 to 99. Means minus 1, right? 1 divided by 100 into 100, we will get minus 1%. Or we can write decrease 1%. But price is increased 2%. So we will get minus 0.5. Remember, minus will tell us about type of product. Minus means categorized as a inferior product. Inferior product means if our income increase, we will use that product. Means if our income increase, we will decrease to use that product. So minus 0.5 means product B is a inferior product. But how to categorize elastic or inelastic? We have to ignore minus sign. So just see 0.5. 0.5 is less than 1. So categorize as a inelastic product. Now product C. At the end we will get positive 0.5. Positive means normal product and 0.5 still less than 1 means inelastic.
Cross-elasticity of demand. Cross-elasticity of demand, XED, is a numerical measure of the responsiveness of the quantity demanded for one product following a change in the price of another related product, ceteris paribus. The formula used is:
Before we had discussed about price elasticity demand and income elasticity demand. Now is the last type of elasticity is talking about cross elasticity demand. Cross elasticity demand means we will compare two different products. So they will be categorized as a substitute product or complements product.
Products that are substitutes for each other, e.g., different types of laptop computer, will have positive values for the XED. If the price of B goes up, then people will begin to turn to product A because of its more favorable relative price. If the price of B falls, then consumers will start to buy B instead of A. Products that are complements, e.g., computers and printers or software, will have negative values of XED. If the price of B goes up, the quantity demanded of B will drop and so will the complementary demand for A. Assume the current average market price of a standard type of personal computer is $1,000 and current sales are 100 units per day. Consider what might happen if, following a 2% decrease in the price of laptop computers, a substitute product demand for PCs falls from 100 units to 98 units per day at the original price. Our calculation becomes
2% fall in demand of PCs divided by 2% decrease in price of laptops equals with positive 1. Positive sign indicates that the products are substitutes.
Now consider that the average price of software, a complement, falls by 5%. This encourages extra sales of PCs so that demand for PCs rises to 101 per day at the original price. The cross-elasticity calculation is
1% increase in sales of pieces divided by 5% fall in price of software equals minus 0.2. We have to note that the sign indicates the nature of the relationship. So negative sign will tell us about components product.
Business relevance of demand elasticities. Knowledge of PED is useful to help understand price variations in a market, the impact of changing prices on consumer expenditure, sales revenue and government indirect tax receipts. Businesses are using price variations to try to maximize their revenue. They are well aware that there are variations in price elasticity of demand in their markets and therefore trying to exploit the opportunities presented to them. For example, a very good example of price variations in a market is the price of tickets to watch a major sporting event. In 2012, the UK hosted the Olympic Games. The price of tickets to watch athletics events ranged from $140 to $650. The cheapest tickets being for the heats of field and track events, with the most expensive being for the last day when medals were being awarded for the main events. Second, price elastic PED and total expenditure or total revenue. PED can help us understand how total spending by consumers will change as price rises or falls.
Total customer spend we call as a total expenditure, but total supplier or seller get we can call as a total revenue. Both are same formula, price into quantity. The only thing we have to see from which side. If price into quantity from customer side, we call as a total expenditure. But if it from seller or supplier, price into quantity we call as a total revenue.
Third, income elasticity of demand. YED provides information on how the quantity demanded varies with a change in income. It is potentially of great importance for businesses and for governments in forecasting the future demand for a whole range of consumer goods and services. In emerging markets like China and India, for example, as incomes increase, then people demand more cars. Production changes need to occur to satisfy this demand, and governments need to build more roads to accommodate the increased demand. Fourth, cross-elasticity of demand. Remember that substitutes are characterized by a positive XED. The higher the price, the more likely it is that consumers will buy a cheaper substitute. In such cases, there is a high degree of interdependence between suppliers, and the dangers of a rival cutting price are likely to be very significant indeed. Companies are increasingly concerned with trying to get consumers to buy not just one of their products but a whole range of complementary ones, for example, computer printers and cartridges. XED will identify those products that are most complementary and help a company introduce a pricing structure that generates more revenue. Self-assessment task 1.
In self-assessment task 1, you only have to calculate price elasticity demand and what is the interpretation. We always have to remember if we are calculating price elasticity demand, we will use absolute term. Means we have to ignore negative sign. Okay.
Self-assessment task 2.
In self-assessment task 2 also same, you guys have to calculate price elasticity demand or PED and what is the interpretation. Okay guys, good luck.